Have you ever heard of a man so strong he could tear a lion apart with his bare hands, yet so weak he was undone by a woman's deceit? This is the epic tale of Samson, a hero from the pages of the Bible whose life was a whirlwind of divine power, human passion, and ultimate sacrifice. Our story begins in ancient Israel, a land suffering under 40 years of Philistine oppression, but hope was on the horizon. An angel appeared to a barren woman, promising her a son who would be a Nazarite from birth, set apart for God. He was forbidden to drink wine, touch anything unclean, or ever cut his hair. This son was Samson, and his uncut hair was the outward symbol of his sacred vow and the source of his incredible, God-given strength. From his youth, the Spirit of the Lord was with him, preparing him for a great destiny. As Samson grew into a man, his life took a complicated turn. He fell in love with a Philistine woman from Timnah. His parents were against the match, but Samson insisted, not realizing that God was using his desires to create an opportunity to strike back at Israel's enemies. On his way to see her, a young lion attacked him. In a flash, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he ripped the lion apart with his bare hands. Later, he returned to find a beehive in the lion's carcass and ate the honey, a small but significant breach of his Nazarite vow. At his wedding feast, Samson proposed a riddle to 30 Philistine guests, wagering 30 sets of clothes. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. Stumped and frustrated, the Philistines threatened his new wife. They forced her to pry the answer from him. Betrayed and furious, Samson stormed out, killed 30 Philistine men to pay his debt, and abandoned his wife. His rage, however, was far from over. When he later returned for his wife, he found her father had given her to another man. As an act of spectacular revenge, Samson caught 300 foxes, tied their tails together in pairs with torches, and set them loose in the Philistines' fields, burning their grain, vineyards, and olive groves. The Philistines retaliated brutally, burning Samson's former wife and her father. This only fueled Samson's fury, and he attacked them again, slaughtering many. Big conflict escalated until his own people, the men of Judah, tied him up and handed him over to the Philistines to keep the peace. But as his enemies closed in, Samson's bonds melted away like thread. He grabbed the fresh jawbone of a donkey and with it struck down 1,000 men. Despite his victories, Samson's greatest weakness was his heart. He fell deeply in love with a woman named Delilah. The Philistine rulers saw their chance. They offered Delilah a fortune to discover the secret of Samson's strength. 3 times she tried to coax the secret from him, and 3 times he lied to her. But Delilah persisted, wearing him down with her nagging until his soul was vexed to death. Finally, he gave in. He told her everything: his Nazarite vow, his uncut hair, the source of his power. That night, as Samson slept on her lap, Delilah called in a man to shave his 7 locks of hair. His strength left him. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and threw him in a prison in Gaza, where the once mighty hero was forced to grind grain like an animal. They had broken him, or so they thought. But in the darkness of that prison, something began to happen. Samson's hair began to grow back. Some time later, the Philistines held a great festival in the temple of their god, Dagon, to celebrate their victory over Samson. They brought him out to mock him. The temple was packed, with about 3,000 men and women on the roof, all eager to see the fallen champion. Blind and humiliated, Samson was placed between the 2 central pillars that supported the entire structure. In that final moment, Samson prayed, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please God, strengthen me just one more time." He placed his hands on the 2 pillars, one on his right and one on his left. With a final earth-shattering roar, he pushed with all his might. The temple collapsed, burying Samson and all the Philistines inside. In his death, Samson killed more of his enemies than he had in his entire life. His story serves as a powerful reminder of God's power working through flawed people, the severe consequences of our choices, and the possibility of redemption even in our darkest hour. Thanks for watching.